From Clay Morrow's brutal murder in Season 6 to Jax Teller's tragic suicide in the last season, these are the Sons of Anarchy cast's most memorable moments. Since the show first aired in 2008, it's given fans many iconic scenes. It's safe to say that we're completely obsessed with the gang. But if there's one group that's more attached to the show than us, it's the actors themselves. And Clay Morrow's brutal murder in Season 6 blew Ron Perlman's mind. Ron played Clay's role for 6 whole seasons. And when the actor was asked which scene stuck with him the most, he was quick to answer. The charismatic leader of the club had been a thorn in Jax's side for years, and in this jaw-dropping scene, the long, bitter feud between the two finally reached its end. In episode 11, titled En route per Santa, Clay goes head-to-head with Jax, who's hell-bent on getting revenge. After years of ruling as the club's leader, his reign comes to an end with 2 bullets in the neck and chest. Insane, right? But to be fair, Clay did go out with honor. He accepted his fate and collaborated with Jax to stage his death as a clash with the Irish gang, all to secure a deal with August Marks. In a bittersweet twist that left us all feeling some kind of way, he told Jax that he was proud of him, giving fans a much-needed redemption arc for the character. Naturally, this scene left fans with divided feelings. While some fans were happy that Clay was finally out of the picture, his last conversation with Jax definitely showed how complex the character really was. And that's exactly what made this moment so important for Perlman. He accepted the fact that his character would not make it to the final act, but he also liked that there was some form of personal redemption in the scene, allowing him to leave his own mark on the story. Jax's murders don't just stop there, and the next person on his hit list was none other than Gemma Teller-Morrow, played by the incredible Katie Seagal. Jax's mother had always been an influential member of Sam Crow, but to say that she's made her fair share of mistakes over the seasons would be a major understatement. She'd been spinning her web of lies and manipulation throughout the club, but it all came crashing down in Season 7 when she confessed to killing Jax's wife, Tara. Gemma might think she's the only one keeping the family together, but Jax isn't one to let things like this go. And in the episode Red Rose, she found herself on the other side of her son's gun, but not before begging Jax to end her suffering and telling him that she loves him. In a heart-wrenching gesture, she turns her back to him, letting him deliver the fatal shot to the back of her head. A tragic but necessary death, and one that the actress was very satisfied with. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Katie confessed that she'd known about the scene for a long time. In fact, she was actually glad Gemma went out the way she did, because in a way, she didn't feel burdened to keep Tara's death a secret anymore. She also expressed gratitude for making it to the second-to-last episode. Kurt Sutter, the brilliant mind behind Sons of Anarchy, wanted to give a clear ending rather than leaving fans hanging, and he figured the garden was the perfect place to end it all. But while I'm on the topic of characters with complex storylines, it's only fair I talk about Tommy Flanagan's time on the show as Chibs Telford. The loyal biker, with an undeniable sense of justice, faced a defining moment in his journey when he finally had the chance to confront Jimmy O'Phelan, his former friend turned enemy from the real IRA. And can I just say, this scene was an absolute roller coaster of emotions. First of all, it was an incredibly satisfying moment. Chibs had gone through betrayal, torture, a scarred face, and threats to his beloved wife and daughter, all because of Jimmy. And this encounter was the end of Chibs' quest for vengeance, and the larger plan to take down the manipulative agent, Stahl, who had caused Donna Winston, a fan-favorite character's, death. This showdown wasn't just about settling scores, it was deeply personal, which is exactly why Chibs used a knife to slit Jimmy's throat while whispering, "This is for my family." He wanted Jimmy to suffer for all the pain he'd caused, and a bullet wasn't enough. Taking Jimmy's jacket and cutting off his patches just added to the already intense scene, and fans couldn't help but obsess over this finale. Chibs had gone through a lot to get to this point, and Tommy Flanagan, the incredible talent behind Chibs Telford, couldn't top praising Titus Welliver's performance as Jimmy, as he mentioned their amazing on-screen chemistry that made this scene truly shine. Tommy was happy with how Kurt decided to give Chibs closure, all while showing the character's growth and transformation. But he wasn't the only Sam Crow member who wanted justice, and Tig Traeger's revenge arc was as dark as it gets. Showrunner Kurt Sutter had big ideas for how he wanted to start the 5th season, but even actor Kim Coates wasn't ready for what he had in mind. After Tig kills Veronica Pope, the daughter of notorious crime leader Damon Pope, his life changes forever. And when Damon finds out what's happened, he abducts Dawn, Tig's daughter, and from there on out, it's complete chaos. Damon forced Tig to watch as he burns Dawn alive in an oil pit, but the scene goes beyond just being a tragic death. It's a transformative moment for Tig's character, since his grief and guilt change him to his core. He became more vulnerable as he deals with the weight of his actions, and is only able to pull through because of his bond with Venus Van Dam. The scene was so powerful that it left fans numb for days, and when Coates was asked about how he prepared for a shot that gruesome, he said it was one of the most challenging scenes he'd done in his career. Kim was moved to tears when he found out about it from the showrunners, and had to go the extra mile to prepare. Did you know he met with a therapist to fully capture the intense emotions the scene required? Plus, during filming, he'd formed a close bond with Rachel Miner, the actress playing Dawn, which added another layer of authenticity to their performances. Dawn's death set the stage for Tig's character arc, but he wasn't the only club member acting out due to grief. Opie Winston was never able to recover from the death of his wife, but his selfless act in Season 5 had fans crying for days, all while bringing an end to Ryan Hurst's incredible performance on the show. Jax, Opie, Tig, and Chibs get themselves into trouble in Episode 3, when a gunfight with the Niners puts them in jail. But when they run across Damon Pope, things take a devastating turn, and Pope, being the cunning bad guy that he is, makes Jax an offer. He agrees to help them with their legal issues and spare the club, but only if Teller gives up one of his club members. And Opie, realizing the tough situation Jax is in, steps in and tells the club leader to let him handle it as he starts a fight with the prison guards. But while Winston put up an incredible fight, he eventually gets overwhelmed and beaten to death. Even though Opie battled valiantly, he's ultimately overpowered, beaten, and left for dead. By the time the episode aired, fans couldn't believe that they wouldn't see him in the club anymore. The loss hit hard for the actors and the show's crew too, and even Ryan was heartbroken after filming this scene, since he'd poured his heart and soul into his character and felt a strong connection to the story. But when it comes to devastating deaths on the show, Charlie Hunnam's last scene as Jax Teller definitely takes the cake with his tragic suicide in the last season. Jax admits to killing Jury in episode 13 of season 7 and is punished by the club. They decide to kill him, but let him die how he wants. And after saying goodbye to his sons, our main character sets off on his father's bike, wearing his helmet and jacket. And after a side quest of freeing his club members from prison, he returns to Charming, chased by a swarm of police cars. And as Jax reaches the motorway, he sees Milo's semi-truck and the opportunity to go out the way his father did. So he lets go of the handlebars and crashes straight into the truck. But what might sound like a gruesome death is actually a beautiful one, according to Charlie Hunnam. He believed that this was the perfect way for Jax to go out after all that he'd done. And there you have it, from Jax Teller's tragic suicide in the last season to Clay Morrow's brutal murder in season 6. Those are the Sons of Anarchy cast's most memorable moments.